All right, can I get a motion to reconvene into open session, please?
I'll move we reconvene into open session.
Second.
Great, roll call vote. Stephanie?
Aye.
Susan?
Aye.
Janice?
Aye.
Philip?
Aye.
Rochelle?
Aye.
Elizabeth, aye. Ayes have it. We are in open session. All right, next up on the agenda is the consent agenda. Can I get a motion, please, for the consent agenda?
I move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up, celebration of excellence. We have a couple of folks here today to celebrate. So the first is the Wisconsin Association of School Boards Business Honor Roll, recognizing outstanding local businesses that support their schools. So Greg Venz is with us today to share some of our great businesses that are doing amazing work with our kids. So thanks for coming.
This button? Hey, all right, we're good. Yeah, hi, thank you. Back in May, the Wisconsin Association of School Boards opened up their nominations for the Business Honor Rolls. So a school district can nominate businesses that have great partnerships with local businesses. And so it was kind of difficult because I could only nominate 5. And I work with way more than 5 businesses. And the school works with way more than 5 businesses. So please understand, while these are 5 of our great businesses, there's many more businesses out there that that work with us that I couldn't recognize. So we'll start off first with Wisconsin Built. So tonight I have Andrew with me, and Andrew is actually a class of 2025 graduate. So he graduated in the spring, and fortunately I bribed him to come back and speak to us. So Andrew, before I open it up to you, what I want to do is just read a short snippet about the Wisconsin Built. It's kind of a summary of what I submitted in May. Of course, it'd be nice if I had these in order. Wisconsin Built has been a strong and consistent partner offering youth apprenticeship opportunities that allow students to experience modern manufacturing firsthand. They've helped students connect with what they learn with school, with real careers in a growing industry, and their ongoing partnership shows how education and businesses can work together to develop the next generation of skilled professionals. It's also interesting, the picture that I pulled off of Wisconsin Built's website is a picture of a school library. And so here we are with one of our youth that's working at Wisconsin Built and is building furniture that's going back into schools across Wisconsin. It's pretty cool. So, Andrew, you want to come on up and tell us a little bit about Wisconsin Built and your experience and how it's impacted you? Try to keep it under 20 minutes.
Will do. Let's see, I've been there for about 2 years now. I've loved carpentry my whole life and found this company. It was awesome. They have a great program. I've learned a lot, met a lot of great people, young and old, all around lovely people there. Yeah, I think I've grown definitely in that company, mentally and physically there. Yeah, if you guys want to know anything else, happy to answer.
What do you enjoy most about carpentry? You say you've always enjoyed it. What do you like about it?
I like the hands-on aspect of it.
Yeah, very cool. Other questions, board?
Do you have a favorite product or product line that you like to build?
Lincoln or Kia. I do a lot of automotive as well.
Susan?
Do you have any words if you were going to sit down with students today, that you would say to them about your experience, and would you encourage them to do the kind of thing you've done and how that benefits them?
I have actually. There was a student when I was still in my senior year asked me about working at that company. And unfortunately, we only do 2 apprentices at a time per year. So I asked him to come next year, meaning this school year, but I don't think he did. Said if you want to work there, you got to show that you want it. You got to work hard. You got to show them that you can show up every day, that smile, and learn.
Well, thank you for everything you do and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. So next up is the Monona East Side Business Alliance. Christine, do you want to step up and just stand and we'll recognize you? The Monona East Side Business Alliance, MESBA, has been a longstanding supporter of our schools, teachers, and students. And over the past years, they've worked with a student intern that they hired to expand their social media presence. And it's kind of fun. I'm not that adept at social media, but watching the MESBA posts start to fill up my feed and kind of wondering what I've done because holy cow, which is great. It's one of the things that we were hoping to have happen there. The other thing that I want to mention is MESBA hosts EDGAR, right? Edge, which brings the school district together along with local government officials. And it's just a pretty amazing opportunity for everybody to hear what's going on around the community too. Their leadership and willingness to truly help makes a difference for both our schools and our community. So thank you to MESBA.
Well, and Greg, can I just add the
Yeah.
other wonderful thing? Because actually, this is where we actually first had a time to have a discussion, was at one of those meetings, and it was very interesting. But the other thing is, you go to those meetings, and it is so fun to run into the old students and hear about all the things they're doing. And, one's a financial manager, and one's working with the building company, and one's doing healthcare. And they come together in that environment, and so you can have that discussion.
Yeah, it's a great thing to reconnect, right? So, all right, Christine, before you sneak out your certificate. Up next is Forward Pharmacy, and I don't think Matt, or haven't seen him, so, but let me read you what I put down with, or wrote for them, and then you can hear from Dominic. Forward Pharmacy is a wonderful example of local businesses investing in students and their future. They've welcomed youth apprentices in the area of pharmacy for years, giving them early exposure to healthcare patient careers. Their dedication and mentorship and learning helps our students see what's possible in the world of healthcare. And I'm not sure if everybody knows this, but it wasn't too long ago that Wisconsin did not have a pharmacy technician youth apprenticeship. And when the Department of Workforce Development starts to bring new programs on board, they look for kind of businesses to pilot the program. And Forward Pharmacy was one of those pharmacies. So they've been with us since the very beginning. And that's not only impacting us locally, they are impacting the workforce of pharmacy technicians across the entire state. So pretty impressive. So Dominic is here, who's just started at Forward Pharmacy a couple months ago. So Dominic, do you want to come up and share a little bit about your experience?
Hello. Hi. So I've been at Forward for, like Mr. Benz just said, not too long, about 4 months now. And in that short amount of time, I've learned so much about not just what it's like to work in a small community pharmacy, but what it's like to affect a lot of people's lives every single day. And that has been the biggest thing for me, is just being able to see people come in and knowing that what I'm doing behind the counter is helping them in their everyday lives. And that's something I really want to continue to do. The youth apprenticeship program, Mr. Benz, they're just awesome. I mean, it's so nice to be able to, get to really try out something like that, like working, and what it would really be like for me to pursue it after high school. I feel like there's a lot of kids and people my age, a lot of friends I have who don't know what they want to do, post-graduation. There's a lot of questions there. And the program and Ford Pharmacy have really stood there as a way for me to put myself in the shoes of what I could be doing in the next year. So it's been all around a very great opportunity, and I've learned a lot. There's a lot that goes into a pharmacy. It's not just, medicine. There's a lot more to it than that, and I'm learning something new every day. Meeting a lot of cool people. It's been great to see and observe pharmacists like Matt Maybe just get to really see how they connect with the public, and that's something I hope I can continue doing. And especially next year, I'm hoping to continue on this pharmacy path, and maybe one day I can, represent my own pharmacy practice. You never know. It's something I really could see myself doing.
Go ahead, Susan.
Do you want to tell them where your owner of Forward Pharmacy went to school?
Yes, UW-Madison.
Oh, before that,
Before that,
MG.
MG, right?
MG
Yeah.
grad. He's an
That's
MG grad.
yes.
But it's amazing because they have reached out to the community in a way that's been incredible.
Yes, there's a ton of connection there with the Maybes and just
Yeah.
Monona Grove, and I've really felt that connection too, and it's just been such an honor to be able to work for them.
Yeah, they're really great people. So you had said that, you're learning things all the time and that, it's more than just medicine. So what's one thing that was surprising to you in the 4 months that you've been there? You're like, oh, I didn't realize pharmacies did X.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like when you think pharmacy, you mainly just think, cool, I'm gonna fill some prescriptions.
pills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's definitely part of my job, but
Yeah.
that is in no way all I do or what other pharmacists do. I've gone on some field trips, I've gone to a Hope field trip at UW Health to learn a lot about other healthcare careers. And just in pharmacy alone, with a PharmD, which is the Doctor of Pharmacy degree, you can go to 100 different pharmacy-related careers. And just being able to know that that's a possibility for me has been the biggest thing. Wow, it isn't just a Walgreens scenario or a compounding scenario. There's so much to do in this field
Yeah.
of medicine.
Yeah.
So that's been the biggest thing to me. There's so much to do.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Janice.
So what are your plans for when you graduate from MG? Do you want to study pharmacy?
Yeah, I'm thinking about going right away into the pharmacy program specifically. I'm thinking about going to UW-Madison. They can get you done and get done with your PharmD in about 6 or 7 years. And it's just 2 years of prerequisites, which is an intended PharmD, and then 4 years of pharmacy school. I've met a lot of great people there, and I'm really hoping that I can take my future there and just continue that journey. So that's where I'm hoping to go.
Well, congratulations, it's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your work. And I just want to, I know that the Maybes aren't here, so we aren't, able to directly congratulate them, but, I will say, I think they're an incredibly important part of our school community here, and certainly our community writ large, both in Cottage Grove and Monona. So I'm glad they're being recognized tonight.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I got in there that they were leaders in I'm not even sure that they understand how many student careers that they've impacted across the state. So just amazing.
Yeah.
Next up, the Cottage Grove Area Chamber of Commerce represented this evening by Britt and Amy. Cottage Grove Chamber continues to be a wonderful partner with our schools and community. They bring local businesses and education together to provide mentorship, recognition, and real-world learning for students. Their ongoing support helps strengthen the important connection between our classrooms and the local economy. Personally, I just have to say, it's awesome when I can send an email to Britt and say, hey, I need somebody who has, and she is right on it. So thank you, Britt, for that. On the PowerPoint, there's a few pictures. The one picture is the Travel Cottage Grove experience that the DECA students did with Britt. So Britt was the client, and they put together a marketing program for the chamber. And then down below, we have a picture of students helping out at Marketplace Days. Those are DECA students. And then we were fortunate enough, Britt invited us to bring one of our youth apprentices in to speak to the full membership meeting, and a picture of that. So thank you very much for all your support.
I do want to make one comment, Bert, while you're standing there. And I've said this to you in an unofficial capacity, but I want to say in an official capacity, which is how much I see and value and appreciate the love that you put into this community, the MG community, but the Cottage Grove community specifically, and just your constant passion for wanting to make sure that our community is this amazing place. So thank you for that work.
Also a Monona Grove graduate.
All right, last
Do
but
we
not
get
least.
to ask what year? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was also 2024, right?
So last but not least, UW Health Career Pathways, and we're fortunate tonight to have Kelly here representing them along with Claire. And Kelly, we're double fortunate because Kelly is also our recognized career coach. So UW Health sends a career coach to our building once a month, although I think I could fill her 3 or 4 times a month, to meet with students and talk about healthcare careers. So UW Health has been an incredible partner in helping our students explore careers in healthcare through HOPE, which you already heard about with Dominic, events, career counseling, and youth apprenticeship placements. They're giving students real-world experiences that go far beyond the classroom. Their leadership has also inspired interest not only in traditional healthcare careers, but also in vital areas like IT and medical research. I also should say that, oh man, here's that word again, anecdotally, thank you, close enough. I've noticed an increase in medical and healthcare career interests from students. I think in part because of what UW Health is doing. It has also spurred other healthcare agencies, Stoughton Health, for example, to open up some opportunities for our students. So we have 2 students placed at Stoughton Health this year because of the work that UW Health has been doing. So thank you for that. And then finally, before we let Claire kind of share some of her unique experiences, in a couple of weeks, months, 2 months, UW Health and myself, along with a couple other school coordinators, will be presenting at a National Career and Technical Education Conference on this partnership. So it's I think we can say nationally recognized now, right? Yeah, love it. So Claire, do you want to come up and tell us a little bit about this? Claire has actually been doing this for 2 years. So she's in the middle of her 2nd year right now, and she'll share her experiences.
As Mr. Benz has said, I have worked at UW Health for 2 years. Those 2 years have been some of the best times of my life. I originally worked in X-ray at UW Health at both East Madison Hospital and University Hospital. There, I learned so much just because in X-ray, you're seeing a variety of patients, both critically ill and perfectly fine walking, talking. So I think that the variety has really spurred my interest in exploring different types of specialties that I could possibly go into, and even maybe pursuing a career in radiology. Now I do work as a CNA in cardiology at the main hospital. So I am working with critically ill cardiological patients. So that is something that really helps me out because I am very interested in cardiology as a career. I want to become a cardiovascular perfusionist. So I get to learn something every day about a career I'm very passionate about. The staff at UW Health are amazing people. The people who manage the youth apprenticeship program are the most generous, giving, and supportive people that I have met. They are always offering learning opportunities. They're there to help you and encourage growth. They also provide a lot of shadowing opportunities. So I have gotten to talk with perfusionists. I have gotten to shadow a wide variety of medical careers. And every day I am so thankful to have this position. And all of my friends who do this, they say the same exact thing. UW Health has been a very impactful organization in our school community. MG is very active in youth apprenticeship at UW Health. Many of my friends who do it, I have talked with them and they say the exact same things. Yeah, I'm very grateful to have this opportunity, and I will continue to work here after I graduate, hopefully.
Tell us about, again, I think one of the things we've seen over the years is that we always had basically effectively a nurse or nursing assistant apprentice program, but we never branched out. That's why it's wonderful to hear about the pharmacy and the other things that you're doing. And then again, in the old days, we really weren't moving many of our students into any of the other healthcare paths, particularly medical school. And I think you'll find, again, we should get those students back to talk to you about things that they did. One of our medical students during COVID, when their patients came in with a positive COVID test, instead of admitting them, like we were doing at UW, at this particular site where our MG grad was, they gave them a thermometer, which you couldn't buy anywhere, a pulse oximeter, so they could check their O2, which was a key to doing that, and then a blood pressure cuff. They gave that to them, called them every 4 hours, and significantly reduced the number of people that become seriously ill. And again, it's wonderful to see you seeing those paths, because you're saving lives.
Stephanie.
What about being a perfusionist excites you?
I think that it is one of the most interesting careers that I've looked into. I'm always a person who's very I need to know what I'm going to be doing because I just like to plan out things. So when I discovered perfusion as a career, I loved the idea of it zeroes in on the cardiovascular system as something I want to do without having to commit to maybe becoming a doctor, because that's not the path for everybody. But I think that being in the OR, realistically making good money, and that's just something. Yes, that's something that really interests me. I can't think of something I'd rather be doing. As I said, I talked with a perfusionist, and everything, just when I was talking to him, I felt like something just clicks so much with that career for me. So
That's so exciting, and UW has a strong ECMO program, so being able to watch crash ECMOs and stuff, that'd be pretty cool.
What is a cardiovascular perfusionist?
Oh, yes. For sure, yeah. So a cardiovascular perfusionist, generally, they are the people who are in the operating room when there's open heart surgery or a catheter lab procedure. They're the person who is operating the bypass machine. So they bypass the heart and the lungs so that surgeons can work around it and effectively keep blood pumping, oxygenated blood pumping to the rest of the body while the surgeon is operating, and they don't have to overwork the heart and the lungs. So it's a really cool job. But that's just one of the many things they do, because their role is expanding a lot. Like she said, with ECMO, that is the portable bypass machine, essentially. They can work in med flight, so all those separate things, heart and lung transplants, so much variety. Yeah.
Well, I just want to say I'm impressed that you're attracted to something that sounds very stressful and high stakes just as you're coming out of high school. That's really cool.
Thank you so much. We wish you best of luck. Greg, I want to say thank you, obviously, for honoring the businesses, and thank you, businesses, for the work that you do with our students. It's incredible, and thank you to the young people who came here today to talk about their experiences. I think, to echo what you said, Philip, I think, we think a lot about what the high school experience is and how do we reimagine high school in a way that feels really relevant and engaging to youth, and so that, you leave high school not necessarily with like a, oh, this is exactly what I, want to do or whatever, because life is what it is. But to see you all be here and be really excited and enthusiastic about such a wide variety of career options is really incredible and amazing. And so thank you to the businesses for all the work that you do. And thank you, Greg, for, continuing to support such a robust, amazing program.
Well, thank all of you for letting me come in and promote our programs and introduce you to these businesses, because this is the kind of stuff that gets me more businesses and more placements and gets our kids more opportunities. So, and thank you, Philip, for asking that question. I wanted to, but and thank you all for a wonderful evening. And by the way, the Brewers are up 1-0. So.
All right, that was first of two celebrations of excellence. It is a celebration of excellence day. The second is the Cottage Grove School singing the national anthem at youth night. Oh, we get to watch it. Oh my God, I love it already. We haven't even watched it.
It's okay though.
It's okay.
There they are. Okay, well, oh wait, we have student board report comes next. I was gonna say, well, on to business, but we get the student report next, so it's just we'll keep the fun flowing. Go ahead, Elsa, what do you got for us today?
Okay. Is this working?
Yeah,
You gotta push the button, the light will go red.
Yep.
yeah, she did. It's just not.
Okay.
Yep.
So hi everybody. I have a really exciting report for you for this month because, as you know, last week was Monona Grove's homecoming week. So I have a pretty big update on that, and then I can go into some more organizations and sports and stuff. So last week, Monona Grove celebrated a really fun and festive homecoming. Throughout the entire school week, all the different schools participated in their own themed dress-up days in an effort to bring like school spirit and a sense of community. At my school, we had Twin Day, Camo Day, and Neon Day, and those were super fun to see everyone dressed up and everyone having school spirit and really bringing that sense of community to the district. On Wednesday, we had 13 Monona Grove High School groups who traveled around to the elementary schools and the middle school to do a kind of little mini parade for homecoming and a little pep rallies for them. I had the opportunity and the ability to be there, and it was really amazing to see these little kids who really, really look up to these high schoolers, and I was once one of those little kids, and they just get so excited and so amazed, and so that was really amazing to see and to really bring school spirit, because a lot of younger kids don't really know what homecoming is, but to have it be this fun and exciting experience is really, really cool for them. Friday afternoon, we had a pep rally where clubs and sports got a little bit of a chance to like advertise themselves, share what they've been up to,
And then student council also planned some amazing activities for students to participate in, and some of the teachers participated in some really fun dance and songs. They were really funny. I do have to say that's always one of my favorite parts.
I'm gonna have a video of that for Celebration of Excellence.
I don't know. Someone has to get on it for next year.
Someone's got it.
Yeah. Following the pep rally, 14 clubs and sports participated in the homecoming parade, which really is a really fun way to, again, bring that spirit to the community. Pride for our school district. We got to have our sports teams get to engage with the community, and clubs kind of advertise themselves and really put forth this really good foot of Monona Grove School District, and to really show that we're involved in the community, and just, again, the impact on the younger students to have these older students to look up to, and to see them in the fire trucks, in the cars, and to have that opportunity. And of course, the candy is always amazing, always a highlight. Then on Friday night, Monona Grove hosted Sun Prairie West in a very exciting homecoming football game. The theme was school spirit, and fans cheered the team to a 31-0 victory. Go Monona Grove. And MG's dance team and marching band provided amazing halftime performances that were really amazing to see crowd support for that, and really awesome to see a lively student section and parent section. Then for our grand finale on Saturday evening, Monona Grove High School hosted the homecoming dance, which was Glowcella. So if any of you know like Coachella, like the music festival, so this was Glowcella, so like neon themed. There was lots of like neon lights, glow sticks, all that kind of stuff, and it was really, really cool. And the dance actually had over 900 attendees, which is a very well engaged with dance, and it was really, really awesome and really fun to see that engagement in the community. So now I'm gonna move on to organizations and activities. First, I wanna start off with Environmental Club. This past month, Environmental Club has been super active in creating a more eco-friendly Monona Grove High School. The club has once again brought in compost bins into the cafeteria, which is a really great option, and it really gives like students an option for sustainability. At lunchtime, it really provides, a lot of the time, there's a lot of food waste at lunch, and to see that going towards something better and making the earth a better place instead of being that point of waste is really, really cool to see students taking an active role in that. Then Monona Grove DECA was also super active this month. During homecoming week, they did Powder Puff football and Powder Puff volleyball. So congrats for the sophomores for winning Powder Puff volleyball. Who go sophomores? And the seniors who won Powder Puff football. And overall, with the donations and the entry fees, DECA raised $2,158 for the Muscular Dystrophy Association, which is such an amazing impact that students have had on the community and on this foundation going towards a better cause and a better world. DECA also, along with Project Unify at the homecoming football game, participated in a Miracle Minute, raising $848 for Special Olympics Wisconsin, which again is a super big impact in our community. Monona Grove is very involved with Special Olympics Wisconsin, and to be able to have that money going towards them is really, really cool. Show choir. In addition to their weekly rehearsals, Monona Grove show choirs participated in their second dance camp of the season. So this is kind of like a weekend where all show choir members get together and they learn new choreography and practice the stuff they already know to perfect it for their competition season. They also hosted a fun like singing, dancing car wash that I believed if you gave them a tip, they'd do a little song and dance for you, which I think is a really cool way. Get your car cleaned, see a little performance, really great outreach moment. And then finally, Drama Club. The club is very, very excited to present Silenced on Barber Street. The cast list went out in September, and it has been all hands on deck to get the show up and running. Members have been working tirelessly at rehearsals, and they even hosted a set building day to build the sets for their play. Then sports. Girls tennis, the team celebrated an amazing regular season, ending with a 13-9 record. Congratulations are definitely in order for the 3 doubles teams and 3 singles who have advanced to sectionals. Girls swim, The Monona Grove girls swim team has had a successful season thus far, most recently celebrating in victory at the Beloit Invite against 7 other teams from surrounding areas. So very impressive to see our Monona Grove girls swim stand out in that field. Boys football, as I was talking a little bit about before, the Monona Grove football team has had a really impressive season so far, holding a 7-1 record as the season progresses. And finally, boys soccer, Monona Grove boys soccer, they hold an 11-3-3 record with a very notable 2-0 victory over Verona, which was the first ever in Monona Grove program history. I know they were very ecstatic about that, very exciting. So lastly, other activities. So Monona Grove High School had over 50 junior and seniors attend the Wisconsin Education Fair, which is a fair that hosts colleges, universities, specialty schools, and military branches, and allows students, it facilitates a time for them to ask questions about financial aid, extracurricular opportunities, study abroad, different grants, and athletics, and really gives students an opportunity to seek out the colleges and careers that they're looking for and find those specialties, and kind of look ahead at their future as they move on with their lives and away from Monona Grove. Then we also had 49 Monona Grove High School orchestra students and several parent chaperones travel to Chicago to see the Chicago Symphony Orchestra perform. So the program included Samuel Barber's famous piece, Adagio for Strings. Students also went to Navy Pier for lunch and stopped at Millennium Park to take a few selfies with the bean. In preparation for the performance, students learned about Barber's compositions in class because concert orchestra, so 9th and 10th grade, will perform a Barber piece at their concert in November. All students had a really great time with this trip. Everyone was super excited and enjoyable to see such a wondrous symphony performs and the wonderful orchestra. To really see how music impacts our lives and to see amazing musicians is really an awesome opportunity for these students. Then Monona Grove Band has also really enjoyed bringing school spirit to Monona Grove this month. Miss Stone over there is repping this show shirt. So the theme this year is Pop Divas, which features arrangements from Billie Eilish, Camila Cabello, Taylor Swift, and Chappell Roan, which I think a lot of students were really, really excited to see that on the list this year. I know I was, big fan. So it's really, really fun. I think everyone really has loved to bring, again, the school spirit and the sense of community in playing these songs. It really lights up the crowd and the students to really see that. And then finally, back in September, Monona Grove hosted its annual activity fair, which is basically a fair where all clubs at Monona Grove are able to showcase themselves to the students, and students can go around and sign up for whatever clubs interest them, no commitment necessary, to kind of sample what Monona Grove has to offer and really find their niche and find their community. And it's really, really helpful for freshmen and incoming students to find where they fit in the community. So yeah, that's all I have for today. That's basically Monona Grove's September and beginning of October. Really busy month, but
Did you go to Glochella?
I did go to Glochella.
And?
It was really good. They played Jump Around, which I really liked.
Yeah.
So that was really fun.
That's it. You did it.
Yeah, that was it. I did it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Any questions at all or comments for Elsa? Yeah, Philip.
That's a great report. I can't believe the sheer volume and diversity of things that you're keeping track of in the school.
It's definitely, Monona Grove just has so much going on, so you definitely can't cover all of it, but I'm really excited to be able to highlight some things that I think have been really
I would have believed that was all of it.
Yeah, I know. It was a lot. It was a lot.
There's a lot more.
Well, and I want to thank you also because I have a high schooler and I didn't know all this was going on. And because he's not always sharing all the activities, so this keeps me apprised, so I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Susan.
Thank you. I wanted to thank you for your report as well, which I think is really interesting. And it goes back to what Greg was talking about, and that's that interface between the families, the students, the community, and going forward and finding new things and exploring new pathways. And the interesting thing about that is when you look at some of the main people integrating you, You look at your football coach who was an MG grad. You look at your tennis coach who was an MG grad. You also look at one of your tennis players who has done extremely well, who was our school board representative student. So again, it's a wonderful coming together. Thank you.
I think this position has really allowed me to kind of see the interface and the connection that Monona Grove has, not only here in our community, but almost across the country, and how Monona Grove students impact the world has been really, really awesome to see. And it's so cool to see how much impact and community it creates. These activities really take students and help them find their careers and find their passions in life after high school. So I think that's really, really cool to see.
Well, thank you, Elsa. We appreciate it. All right, next up is public appearances. I don't believe we have any tonight, Tish? Okay, no public appearances, so we will move on to action items. The first is the waiver of liquidated damages for breach of an individual teacher contract, which we presented in closed session.
I will move approval of waiving liquidated damages for breach of individual teacher contract as presented in closed session.
I'll second that.
Great. Any discussion? Okay, let's do voice vote. Stephanie?
Aye.
Susan?
Aye.
Janice?
Aye.
Philip?
Aye.
Rochelle?
Aye.
Elizabeth, aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up, the 2025-2026 Support Staff Handbook Revisions.
Yes, so we're excited to bring forward a proposal that was created in concert with the MG EA and district administration for some potential revisions to the support staff handbook, and moving forward with those for some alignment with some of the, you'll see things that look similar from when we had the certified staff one, and then some specialty areas also. So the full handbook is attached, but it is quite a large document. So there is another one that is called the handbook summary that just gives us the overall sections. Some of you can see are very just procedural updates, such as updating contact information and adding some words. Yes, exactly. So I guess I would hit the big ones. Is that okay, or do you want to go line by line?
I think the big ones feel right. Does
Okay.
that feel okay?
Yep. 5.01 is payroll dates, and we added language to clarify when benefits are taken for our staff that works 20 pays. So our staff that doesn't have a 12-month contract. And so taking those out in May and June for August and July, so people understand that they pay those out. And then if they return to us, then it picks up again. If they decide to leave, then they have insurance through that summer till September. But just clarification for that, so people can plan ahead and understand, what impacts on their paychecks may be. Changing some terminology for sick leave, as you have, if you're a 10-month, 11-month, or a 12-month, what you accrue, just adding some clarification to that. We had some COVID language still in there that we struck. Holidays during sick leave, again, it's just a clarification, things that have been done in the past, but wanting to be crystal clear with people around holidays, paid or not paid during time off, and that holidays are not paid for approved or unapproved unpaid leave. So I think we talked about that with teachers also, so alignment with there. Catastrophic leave, we put quite a bit of language into the handbook to really clarify who qualifies, what is catastrophic leave, what that process looks like, who's on that team, and then any kind of an appeal process. So we mirrored it with the certified staff also. There was some language in there that the superintendent could add additional bereavement days. We did strike that. And then we also struck another part of bereavement leave and put it all into one spot. As we've talked about before, that handbook can be a little tricky to read, and this was an area to clean that up. Last month, we updated the handbook for personal business leave for teachers. They have always had 3 for TAs or SEAs. And wanted to just clarify for some of the other groups that maybe only had 2 that they went to 3. And they have the same ability to use those in 15-minute increments. And then also the rollover language that they can roll them over to either have go into their sick leave, or they can have it roll over to do the extended personal leave bank, which is that notion that we've added that you can allow 5 consecutive days to be used once every 10 years without any restrictions around holidays or breaks for this group of employees in the same way. Personal business leave, it used to have restrictions on what you could use it for, and we removed those restrictions. So it's just your personal business.
Yep. That's what personal business is.
Exactly.
My personal business.
Yep. Short-term unpaid leave, added unpaid non-FMLA sick pay, indicating that when staff can be on leave, that they do not have to pay the district portion of their benefits for up to 3 days per year. Clarification on annual vacation for employees based on your 10, 11, or 12-month status. So it aligns with the actual calendar and vacation days for each of those calendars. Dental and health insurance, again, this is similar that this is moving practice in line where your coverage starts when you are on your first day of employment. There's not a waiting period. Definition of hours worked, adding some clarifying language around staff other than building services must work their scheduled hours and round out their timesheet of expected hours each week with either hours worked or benefit time, either personal leave or sick time. And then the last one, emergency closure situation. People can use their accrued personal leave or vacation time. This would be more for your admin assistants, and that not sick time, that can be used if they do not wish to work from home. So we do allow them to work from home, but if they just want to take that day, able to do that. And then just remove some old language about vacations are being communicated weekly to staff via our different communication methods. There was a time where every time a posting was happened, they'd shoot an email out to staff, and that got to be relatively cumbersome, and nobody loves their inbox to look like that. So to open it up for any questions.
Questions at all?
I'm going to move approval of the 2025-2026 support staff handbook revisions as presented. And just wanted to comment, I know I said this in committee, but I want to say it here too, that I'm so grateful and impressed with the work in the collaboration between your team and the MGEA and the staff who are part of that. It has just been so refreshing to see, just the efficiencies that are getting realized and the goodwill in the process. So it's really tremendous. And this is a lot of work for everybody involved, and getting here so smoothly and efficiently is really cool. So thank you so much.
Yeah, and just want to thank our MGA leadership, and then also Mendy Doris from WEAC, who works with them. Just being able to come to the table and sit around the table and talk about, all the different things that people brought forward and have conversations and where can we come to agreement. So it's been a good process.
I'll second it for the motion, and also I will second what Philip said.
Yeah, it was very well said, Philip.
Thank you. It's really nice to see the collaboration happening. So that's great.
Any further discussion? Okay. Voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. All right. Last up is policy series for second reading.
All right, so policy series for second reading, everything that is on here we did at first reading, and no one has contacted me with questions or emails or changes, so I think we're good to go with
Great.
policy for second reading.
Can I get a motion, please?
I'll move approval of the policy updates as presented.
I'll second that.
Great. Any further discussion? All right. Voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. All right. Moving on to discussion items. Policy series for first reading. Janice?
Okay, policy series for first reading. Okay, yeah, well, so I'll just kind of do the highlights, I guess. Emergency nursing service it's a Neola update, and it was provided to statutorily be in compliance with the law. And also, I'd just like to say that this was worked on with our district nursing staff. So like, all of, that was a question that came up during policy committee, and, you know, the nursing staff is aware of it and helped work on it.
Just a quick
Yeah.
question about that. So this policy in particular seemed like a tremendous improvement to me relative to the one that it's replacing. And I was curious, I realize it sounds like it was, you know, Neola was the reason why we were looking at it, but was this an example of something we were behind on in terms of practice, or the new one just seems so much more sensible, I guess, as I read it compared to
Yeah.
what it's replacing.
And I would agree. I think that was one of the feedback that Neola got,
Mhm.
and bringing that forward, and kind of set, and just basically recommendation of that I brought forward was, let's just end the old one and start over.
Mhm.
Yep.
So.
So this one seems really good. So yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I would just add to what happens, Philip, all the time to us in policy, like you think you've just done it and you've just looked at it, and all of a sudden there's statutory changes. So the other thing that's positive about that process is that it makes us really look at what we're doing. And it was really nice, because one of the first questions we asked in the committee was, did you talk to these people? And yes, definitely, administration had done a lot of work with them. And we were clearly assured that it was reviewed by all the nursing staff and that they felt the policy needed to be replaced.
The other ones, that was the one that we had kind of most of our discussion about. The other ones are Neola updates. Does anybody have questions about third grade promotion, early graduation, academic honesty, student use of possession, and use of cameras and other recording devices in locker rooms?
No, I am glad that lookalike substances are in our policy now.
Mhm.
Yes, Susan.
Well, and I would just add that I think one of the things that was very positive in 5411, which is the third grade promotion and retention, is that it requires parent notification,
Mhm.
so that there isn't any possibility that you're moving forward with this process
Right.
without
Surprise.
family being involved. And it also brought us into compliance with the statutory language again. So it was helpful for us to review that and see that and be able to make that update.
Yeah, go ahead, Philip.
I have a question about the public comment policy. And apologies if that's where you're headed next.
That was where I was headed,
Oh,
but no, go
I
ahead,
can-
do your question.
My question is just, it's pretty straightforward. I noticed the comment around the potential for 5 minutes when there's fewer than 5 people registered to speak. I just didn't see it in the policy draft, and I was wondering if it was actually supposed to be in there.
It's not.
Okay.
We had a discussion about that, and for a couple of reasons, kind of felt that that would potentially be confusing to people who are going to speak, because you wouldn't know how to prepare. Like, because you wouldn't know until you get there how many speakers there are gonna be. So do you prepare a 3-minute statement or a 5-minute statement? And so, because of that, and then also the possibility of, you know, if you wanna speak longer than 3 minutes, maybe, you know, you can hand it off to the next person who will finish your statement, or like more than one person can sign up to read. So there's different ways to go about that, so we had kind of felt like we should just leave it where it is. Tanya, did you have anything else about that?
Yeah, I think that was pretty much the sentiment.
I mostly just wanted to clarify if I was supposed to be looking for that or not, so that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Well, and the other thing that was difficult was, if you come to the September board meeting and there's 7 people there that want to talk about it, you hold back and you come to the October meeting, so you get your 5 minutes. I mean, it may interface negatively in a way of bringing information forward to the board.
I think it's a good clarifying question, and so just as we're updating board docs, and I can write this language to you, I think it's important that we reflect that the reason why this policy went to policy committee in the first place was because we had a board member request that the policy committee look at it, but it's not clear that that's what happened when you're looking at the documentation. So I think we just need to update that so it's clear to like the public why, and then when it comes to second read.
Yeah, to clarify, I don't
Yeah.
feel strongly. I just wanted to make sure I understood what I was supposed to be reviewing.
No, 100%. So, okay.
Well, and then actually, I'd like to send it back to policy committee because, you know, during one of my morning dog walks, well, I do a lot of thinking every single morning, but I just want to make sure that this policy, like when we're done with it, it doesn't infringe on staff ability to come and address issues. So I'd just like us to have like one more shot at it.
I think that's fair too, especially because Eric was the board member who had requested about 5 minutes, and since he's not at this meeting, he doesn't get an opportunity to weigh in between first and second read. So I think between kind of the wordsmithing you want to do and then being able to do due diligence by kind of Eric's request, it makes sense to me that we would hold this for another first read and then we'll bring it second read. But in the meantime, our policy stands the way it is.
Sure.
Yes, Susan.
And another thing that we agreed as a committee in the meeting that morning was that one of the things we really wanted to do was hear if there was any board discussion. What's your thought? We felt it wasn't, you know, we really wanted to hear the discussion from the board before we came to a positive going forward.
Right, and I appreciate that we can hold it until Eric has a chance to weigh in.
Anything else for discussion on policy series first reading? So anything that's in the Neola release will go to second read. So just as a reminder, as you're thinking about these and rereading them, if you have ideas or updates, send them in writing to Janice. We will have public comment again as part of first read next board meeting. All right. Next up, Summer School 2025.
Yes, so bringing forward report that originally came to the Teaching, Learning, and Equity Committee, but sharing with the full board our update on 2025 summer school. So you can see classes offered for K through 5, there were 40, 6, 8, 15, and 9, 12, there were 16 classes. Obviously, we always get more littles, and as kids get older, get busier, jobs, different type of things. Would say that we have more different courses being offered this year at the high school because we normally had only done credit recovery, and this year we added personal finance and health and PE to it for kids that want to get a bit of a jump start on that.
For credit.
Yeah, for credit. You know, when you hear students talk about the things such as Greg was talking about, you know, when kids can get some of those required classes done a little earlier, it frees up their schedule to do some of these really amazing things that they are able to do. So we're continuing to work on that. As far as summer school staffing, we had 119 staff members that taught in summer school, and very proud to say that 109 of them are currently our own staff. Everything just goes better when it's people that know how we do business, what the expectations are, those things, and of the 10 other, many of them are either had been in summer school previous years and worked for us or are subs in the district. So just really, really grateful to our employees that continue to be willing to come in and work summer school. Participation by building, you can see we continue to trend up. All buildings over the years except Winnequa, we trended down a tiny, tiny bit. See, we went from 380 to 364. So the scale's very, very small, but continue to serve many kids. And then you also can see grade level participation. You know, we really hit those second, third, and fourth graders, and then it goes down, and then 6 and 8 and 9, 12 are lumped together, so it's slightly deceiving. When we think about going forward, you know, happy that we continue to see more students participating, participation of our own staff, and then we did add band camp as part of summer school this year. There's quite a few things that we offer during the summer that we don't roll into summer school, which impacts what kind of reimbursement or revenue we get. So this year we'll continue to look at what are those summer opportunities, which is one of our opportunities for improvement, what that we can capture through summer school. Because because we offer those things, and we might as well be rolling it into that.
Right.
The other thing that we know we need to do is with our Act 20 and third grade reading proficiency, we need to have a much more structured and targeted reading intervention courses for students who are on reading plans that are at that below 25th percentile. So,
In summer?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So that is the summer school report. Any questions?
Questions or comments about summer school? I will just say youth continue to love it, and every kid that you talk to that goes to summer school just is having a great time and loves the classes and everything else. So, I mean, I think it's really amazing.
Yeah, I was so thrilled when my kid asked to go to summer school this year,
Yeah.
which I was surprised by. So
Yeah.
I'm really pleased to see the enrollment going back up after COVID. We lost a lot of kids, and especially for families who work, it's really nice to have an opportunity for your kids to enjoy to go to school with their friends and do things they don't get to do during the school year. And it's very affordable for the most part. I mean, I think the only thing that costs anything is a couple of the classes have lab fees, but other than that, it's available to the community. So I think it's a wonderful thing that the district offers.
Great. All right, on to informational items. Current enrollment update.
So we are through third Friday count. So this is our last enrollment projections versus actuals. It has changed very little since I was presented this in September. You can see that all of our grade levels are within the ranges. Some of our are closer up to the top, some of them to the bottom, really trying to hit that middle range, but our projections were pretty spot on.
Kristen.
Yep, Kristen's formula is pretty accurate, so that's feeling good. I think, from a feedback perspective, I think where, maybe we've gotten where things are a little tighter, if parents have asked for classroom changes, it's pretty hard to put, another child into another class without switching someone else, right? So some of those kind of unintended consequences, I think there's been one or two cases of those, but when you think of the quantity of children we have, it's pretty minimal. So, still getting some move-ins, move-outs. That will continue to happen. I think that's been a change over the last couple of years. People are much more transient during the school year than maybe they were 10 years ago. But this is where we sit on the day that I pulled this. And then when we come back in October, we'll have the official third Friday counts for you. Those are all being verified right now. In addition to that, also do have the high school course sections. That where you can see students enrolled and then student count, max student count.
Questions for Tanya about enrollment? Great. Moving on to committees, if folks have things that they want to add. Anything, Rochelle, from Teaching, Learning, and Equity?
One thing that, just because we had some public interest, I'll just touch on a little bit of the screen time discussion we had. And it sounds like Angie Fassel shared kind of her plan to just start with getting as much data as she can as to how screens are being used during the classes, including smart boards as well as the handheld devices. And so it was nice for the whole committee to kind of talk through and make sure that we weren't missing anything. And so she's should be implementing that now, and she'll come back around with what her findings are.
Great. Anything additional from policy, Janice, other than what we talked about?
No, and thank you, Rochelle. I'll be really interested to hear the results of what she finds out.
Yeah.
No, our next meeting for policy committee is next Tuesday.
Great. Finance and operations, Philip.
yeah, I'll give just a brief review of some of the things we talked about at the most recent meeting. We had a really nice presentation on our food service program. Overall, the program is healthy. It's not without challenges, but it's in good shape and it's well run. We had a really nice presentation from Kristen, and the committee was able to dig in to our debt services and start to really, this is supposed to be the beginning of an ongoing conversation at the committee level on, where are our debts and what do the timelines look like on these debts and what are the options around repayment, et cetera, so that both the committee and the board going forward can more regularly review opportunities to do different things with the debts and understand the impact the debt has on our budget, et cetera. So this was the first of several conversations we'll have at the committee level. Not much in terms of budget to talk about because we're pretty young in the year. And then we have about 14 policies that we did a first read on at the committee, and we decided not to push up to the board because we just weren't ready as a committee. So we're going to keep working on those, and at a subsequent board meeting, we'll be talking about a whole bunch of policy updates that are coming through Neola.
Great.
So that's about all I have to say there.
Thank you, Philip. Questions about F&O? Excellent. All right, next up is personnel. We did meet on October 7th. I was unable to be there at a work emergency. I know that the primary item on the agenda was the support staff handbook, but Philip and Janice, anything else you wanted to share about that meeting that we didn't already cover?
It went really well.
Great.
We missed you, but it went really well.
Thank you for holding down the fort, both of you, while I had to deal with angry departments of educations. All right, last but certainly not least, Monona Grove Education Foundation. Susan, you're up.
Thank you very much. Yeah, they meet at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So, you're moving. The Monona Grove Education Foundation met today, October 14th at 4 p.m. We had bypassed the superintendent report today. They've closed an account at the Bank of Sun Prairie and transferred to Lake Ridge Bank because there was no action on the account. They are working through a leadership transition right now. Previous President Jason McCutcheon is working on that transition with the new president, who is Carrie Robbins. And she actually was previously a board member, and she's been in this district for quite a while, has a very strong knowledge of the district and the students and the communities, and I think is going to be a very positive leadership transition. There are 6 board members with terms expiring in December, and they were saying, let us know if you want to keep going, if you don't, so that we can recruit new members. In the new business, the Monona Grove High School Model UN was allocated $1,000 to support student participation in for any students that might need aid in participating. They were talking about the meetings they go to in Chicago and the expenses that are related to that. They also stated again that they're making the disbursements of interest from the school endowment funds to each of the schools. There are 2 schools that don't have endowments, so we may want to try and encourage them to work on that, MG 21 and Granite Ridge. But those funds are being dispersed to the individual schools now. There is a request from the district Office of Student Services to fund supplemental snacks for students, and that was approved. And it appears that the amount that was approved last year was around $3,600. This year's approval was $4,080. John Weinberger had gone through all the individual things and thought we needed to have a standard way of allotting that money in relation to the students at the school. They're working on the parameters for the Amazon donation in terms of things that they'd like to address in relation to what the district may want to do with those fundings. They're also working on a CARES campaign right now. And they discussed a fourth grade historical society request, but they hadn't made a decision on that at this time, as I understand. They're working on the grab and go for each school. They're working on the pay it forward. They've updated the website, and their next meeting is November 11th at 4 p.m.
Thank you, Susan. Any questions for Susan? All right. Superintendent report.
Yes. Now that school has gotten off the way, I've begun my reading tour of getting into all the 4K5 classrooms to read, which is always lovely because I love it when kids know their parents are involved and they say, "You know my mom. My mom's Lydia." So super great. It's always fun to get in there and hear from kids and talk to them about what's on their heart and minds about school. And
complain about publishers, do you?
yes, lots of fascinating things. I should actually keep a notebook
really should.
after I get done with everyone because they are very funny and have great things to say. So, but it's really nice to get in the classrooms and spend some time with the teachers and the students. So have begun that. Also just wanted to acknowledge the Cottage Grove Student and Family Organization for their playground project. So they raised over $36,000 and they were able to do a interactive piece of equipment. And the most important part about it is the pour and play. So sometimes we forget about the surface underneath the playground equipment is what's most important for accessibility. So this goes right from the hard surface onto the pour and play. So just really appreciative of everything that the group did together. We always laugh like it doesn't look like much because it's so expensive, but we know how hard every piece of that is. And it can grow. There's more pieces that can be added. So this was just phase one.
Yeah.
What is pour and play? I don't know what that is.
Pour and play is like the rubber matting on the bottom that has a soft impact instead of wood chips.
Yep, because you can't.
Kick a wheelchair or a walker. Yeah. Yep.
So when I was in elementary school, it was just cement. So this is much better.
Yeah, this you
That
can.
one's dangerous. The other
Yeah.
one's hard to be ambulatory on. This is like best of everything.
Yeah, this you bounce on if you fall.
Yeah.
So lots of parents, a lot of generous community donations, Cottage Grove Community Foundation, Monona Grove Education Foundation, Madison Gas and Electric Foundation, Kids Funds, and support with just different partners, Hudson's and Impact Together Consulting, because they were able to work with a consulting company on this. So a couple people over there that were fundamental in doing this work. So thank you very much for your efforts. And it's fun to see kids on it and be able to have access to that.
Yeah, thank you. And it's also just how quick that project came together and then came through was amazing too. I feel like we were just talking about this last year. So
Absolutely.
It's great.
So thank you. And then just wanted to note, I think as we're
Are we still talking about the playground, or you?
we're going to move on, but if you have a comment about playground.
I just wanted to, again, thank all of the people that worked on that and all of the people that donated, because there were a lot of individual donations as well as the larger group donations. And they really stayed on this task, even at a time where, there were discussions about size and buildings and all kinds of things. They just stayed committed to making this a better place for all students.
Yeah.
And I really admire and respect that.
Thank you, Susan. Any other comments about playground before we move on? Appreciate the pause, Susan. Okay, now moving on to statutory school year observations.
So I
days.
think one of the things that we got some feedback, and I think it's important to name, because the board has also, the state of Wisconsin has a state statute of what you have to recognize as special observance days. There's 21 of them. The one on Monday was Columbus Day, and they give you what are the days and what you need to share with students and staff about those. And so it's state statute and then some federal law also in some of those major holidays. So these aren't things that we pick and choose. They're the ones that are required to be put out there. And I think it's really important for people to know that. We use, usually there's a photo and then the statement about whatever the DPI has given us about that, and putting that out there, and recognizing those days because we have to. So that concludes my report.
Great. Thank you. Any questions about that?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, of course.
So with, you may have already had this, but with recognizing Columbus Day, can we also recognize Indigenous Peoples' Day, which is also the same day as Columbus? Like, how do we weave that?
Yeah, it's probably something we need to have a deeper conversation on. I think there's been lots of, these are ones we are legally required to do. And then when we start talking about layering more on, what do you add and what don't you add? And where do you take that input from? And how do you come together as a community with consensus?
Right.
And so as of right now, we are recognizing the official days.
Solely those, yep.
Yep, and mostly social media, and then we have to, students need exposure to it on the day of.
Okay.
Although Indigenous Peoples' Day is a federally recognized holiday, and we did recognize it on social media yesterday, along with Columbus Day. Both of them were listed.
Cool. Thank you.
Yes, Elsa.
I was just curious, the boards, like, what does, with these federally recognized holidays, what choices does Monona Grove have and how they represent them? How is this kind of implemented in schools? I think that that's something I'm a little unsure about. So if you have any way of explaining that, that'd be really cool.
So these are if you click on it, you get the list of them, and those are all the ones we do. And then they give you the statement, and then we have them put on the large display boards. So you probably saw them, like U.S. Constitution Day was rolling most of September, and that's where it rolls through.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Appreciate
of
that.
course.
Be excited. What do you do for a life fix?
Well, Mildred Harnick that day too.
Yeah. Great. Any other questions about statutory observances? Okay. Future meeting dates. So as a reminder, I'm not reminding you all of anything because my computer has decided to freeze. But we have, thank you. We have a special meeting on October 28th. We're going to actually be at Granite Ridge for that meeting, so please mark that. And I appreciate that. I'll be totally frank, it's so that I can manage children's activities and get people where they need to be and still be able to be at the meeting. So we're going to use that time to talk about building capacity, talk about those kinds of things. So it'll be a special meeting workshop there, which I'm really excited about. And the other thing, and this is for personnel, which is not on here.
November 13th.
Yeah. Oh, there it is, November 3rd. Are you all okay if we do virtual instead of at DO? Philip and Janice.
Yeah, that's fine with me, because I don't think we're expecting.
We were expecting
But no
folks.
longer,
That's why
yeah.
we were going to do it at
Yeah,
2:30, but we're
so-
not expecting folks anymore, is my understanding.
Yeah. So
I'm
it
sorry,
seems
Maddie,
fine.
I'm looking at you to confirm. And
Yeah.
so I feel like we can keep the 2:30 time, but if you're okay doing virtual, does that work for you? Great. So we'll move that one to virtual. You sure can?
So on October 28th, that will be adjusted budget and setting the levy
Oh, for the special.
for the special meeting. And then we'll move into a workshop to look at the properties that we own and then the updated building capacities and the maps.
Yes, thank you for clarifying. But Granite Ridge, Flex Cafe, first floor. All right. If there's nothing else for the good of the group, can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
I'll move we adjourn.
I'll second
All
that.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned at 8:19 p.m. Thank you, everybody.